So we are going to look at the indexes overall individually like this quickly in this video. Aussie is strong. 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 Still. Now, the pound and euro move here today, the pound went higher. This is a false hope move, and the euro just dropped. We knew that the pound has more strength because of euro pound and the indexes and the yen that we've been looking at for the last day. So we are always expecting these up moves in pound prior to the drop against Aussie, New Zealand, Swiss, and the dollar. But the dollar is in the middle somewhere. But pound and euro are weaker than the dollar. Next. And that's what I'm trying to say about this, these false hope moves. You've got to watch for these. And this is really indicating how strong the Aussie is. Because pound can usually do way bigger false hope moves than this. But it's just not doing it. So with euro, I mean, forget about it. But it's at the point now where we're thinking, okay, is this like ending? When are we going to end here? Or are we just going to carry on? So we can't do anything really until the numbers change, and we really can't, because it's strong. This is going to go on and on, and I'm not surprised. Economically speaking, this makes sense. In terms of looking at it from the fraudulent perspective of how this thing operates. So yeah. Next. CAD. We'll look at it from this perspective again. And we'll verify that CAD is in fact weaker than Aussie. There we go. Here's the pound CAD from last night. And again, you can see that euro did less of a move. It just dropped because it was at the open, wasn't it? Yeah. So pound did its move up, but euro really didn't. It just went down. Zoom in a little bit. You see. Put that back. Oops. And then we'll try to do what we came here to do. So I'll try to do this faster than this. 4 hours. Let's just put everything on this 4-hour view. So at this point, that's what we're doing. Alright. CAD is still strong. CAD yen still strong. CAD Swiss still strong, but only 20s. USD CAD weak. this, I believe, is a false hope up move and down. Perhaps. Um, when would we abandon this and this? Well, when we see on the Euro index itself, huge greens here all across the board, and on the CAD index, huge reds here across the board. So we don't have huge reds. We do have reds though, but we don't have the opposite of that here. We don't have the opposite of that here, only in pound. So maybe we'll take pound and we'll leave the CAD for now. And we can always just get back into this, you know. But if we start seeing huge greens in all the Euro index, which perspective, which we'll go and have a look at in a minute, then that's our cue for the pullback. Because I was watching that last week on the Euro, the 4-hour move, and that's exactly how it formed, but it never made it up to all greens in all of them, if that makes sense. So, and that was shown the same thing in the correlation, and miles in the correlation, miles away in the correlation. So there's still no reason to really be buying this yet, I'm afraid. It's just going to be more ridiculous, the end result. So for now, we just keep going this way, I suppose, and just treat it, just be like robots. Just remember that we can't always catch these perfect moves. We can't always be in perfect vibration with the market every day ourselves. It's very difficult to do that. See, we've got these green buys here. If we go and look at pound index, does this confirm? Now we got the reds in CAD, red, red, red. This is coming green. This is coming green. This is still a little red. This is green, you know. These don't have to change too much, Aussie and New Zealand, because of how strong they have been. But we ideally want to see some greens in Aussie for sure. Now, are we seeing green euro and green pound? That's the key here. Let's go and have a look. If that's going to happen, then we will likely get our deep pullback that we don't want to be involved in. Let's find this here. Hang on. Euro index. Here it is. All right. So the euro index all red. No big greens here. 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 You know, and just beginning in New Zealand. So for now, this would be a hold short in Euro CAD. This is the Euro Swiss, I believe, from yesterday. Yes, it's here. We want to see if the Swiss is showing us any greens collectively, and then we'll know when we're going to get the pullback. So it's going to be important to really go around looking at these profiles. If you do it individually like this, you'll be organized. Just take a couple of looks at it every day, you know. We need to see the Swiss quickly and the pound. So let's go to the pound first. Actually, no, let's go to the Swiss. We'll do it alphabetically because we already missed this one, didn't we? So So Swiss. All right. So in order to exit the short Euro Swiss, we need to see all of these going heavy duty red, especially with the green being Swiss, that we've already discussed. Swiss is green. Um, so it's going to take a lot to stop that. At the moment, it's easier for them just to continue this further. And if there is any moves or are any moves up, I would consider those false hope moves. So we're doing an attempt on this on the dollar. I'm not too into it because the dollar is kind of in the middle, but we do know that Swiss is stronger than the dollar, and tied to the LFX currently. So because we've witnessed that, we can assume that they are going to continue correlating, which would give the upper hand to the Swiss index in the coming days, I would imagine. So that's my theory on that. It is a bit of speculation, but I mean, that is partly the job, isn't it? So we can't be too mechanical all the time as well with this. We have to be flexible. Um, so yeah, we don't need to exit the Euro Swiss on a quick note of this. Yeah, this is still red. This is still red. This is still red. This is still red. This is green. This is red. So even the CAD is red against the Swiss, locally. Just locally, we're looking at this on a local perspective because we're trying to forecast the pullback in order to exit our shorts, right? That's what we're really trying to do here. We're not trying to make a trade off this. We're just trying to get in sync with this thing. So that's the Swiss. We'll go and look at the pound. Hang on. Okay. Pound index overall is down, so it's down. Um, in order to exit the short on pound CAD or pound Swiss, we need to see huge local buyers all the way up here in green in pound. Are we seeing that? No. We're seeing that in euro. Well, it's telling us euro is strong, so pound is weak. This is saying down. This is saying down. This is saying down. This is saying a little bit of strength. So that confirms that CAD weakness earlier. So we might want to consider exiting any CAD shorts at the moment. There could be a CAD drop just locally. Greens here and green New Zealand, which is confirming what we just saw on the Swiss index. So possible Aussie and New Zealand pullback coming or brewing now, I'd say, with that, but we can remain short on pound Swiss. Next, um, let's skip the yen index for now done it so many times. And we'll go to the New Zealand index just for the purpose of trying to speed this video up. Yeah, here we are. New Zealand is a buy over on the long-term perspective, but we are at risk of this short-term pullback given what we've just described. But is this true as we look at the New Zealand collectively versus everything else? Let's take a look. Red, 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 um, red, and red. They're not heavy reds, but they are red. And then Aussie, New Zealand, we have to reverse this, and we've got this would be so Aussie, New Zealand is red on the sellers, so more Aussie sellers than New Zealand. Pound is showing us green versus the New Zealand. So pound is confirming this New Zealand weakness, and so is euro. So there is upcoming New Zealand pullback weakness. So any euro New Zealand or pound New Zealand shorts, I would absolutely be out of those, given what we've just described, with pound, euro, and New Zealand and Aussie all confirming the same exact thing. Next. The last one, I guess, is going to be the dollar. And what are we seeing here? What are they telling us here? What are they telling us? Dollar local strong, overall strong. Is this true? Well, questionable. I believe it's in the middle. There is a chance it will catch up CAD. They're already pretty close. I'm sure we were up another leg on CAD. Oh, sorry, that's not. This is Swiss. Hang on. My bad. Right. We don't want to make ourselves believe in something that's not true, so we have to be careful of that. We do know from here the dollar is stronger than CAD, but was it really? No. Why is that? Well, I have to check higher. Oh, of course, that's why. Yeah. Right. We can't forget this. So yeah, dollar is weaker than CAD. There's no questions. That's why we see this red up here. Okay. No questions. And on the correlation, it said the same thing. Sorry about that. Let's put it all back together. All right. 4 hour, where were we? Here. So, given what we just said, we will remain short dollar, Swiss, and treat these as false hope moves. Is dollar really showing us any real local strength? Let's find out. Yes, it is, because of it's actually weaker locally than Aussie, but ultimately these will win. But locally we could have, yes, and we just did discuss a Aussie and New Zealand down move, likely. So the question is, do we get more committed to this or not? I say no, given what we've just described here. I mean, this is dollar weakness, strength, dollar 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 strength, all high numbers. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take a loss there, and we'll use that as our exit strategy on this false hope dollar Swiss move. But that doesn't mean to say that pound Swiss can't go lower. Here is our very huge buyers in dollar. So like everyone keeps talking about, dollar's going to collapse, all this stuff, but they keep it tied with this other stuff, so it can't. This stuff can't collapse. It's tied together. It's too difficult to collapse. You're going to have to end it, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to end the SWIFT system after May the 16th. After that eclipse, they'll do it sometime. Then they'll end the SWIFT system, and then we'll have we'll have a new system. But yeah, so this is telling us if dollar is really strong short term, what to do. We stick with the overall trend, which is dollar stronger than pound and euro. So yeah, that's what we stick with at the moment. And dollar is weaker than Swiss, but don't expect enormous moves on dollar Swiss. More like chop, you know. Yeah, but that's that. Thanks a lot, guys.